My name is Kendall Moore. I'm a professor in the Department of Journalism at the University of Rhode Island, and I'm also a documentary filmmaker. I knew from a young age that I wanted to be a storyteller. Something important happened when I was about 8 years old. I took a photography class as a Girl Scout. So I was always attracted to the visual medium because I felt like it was more inclusive than other forms of media. And eventually that kind of evolved into filmmaking, documentary filmmaking. That class that I took at a very young age was one of the first events in my life that I can point to that makes me realize, aha, at a young age, I started to get in touch with what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So the photo that you're looking at is an image taken from my film, Philosophy of the Encounter, sort of projected over my face. And I made this film a couple years ago, and the themes in the film look at the experiences of people of African descent living in cultures and communities that don't fully embrace them, and what that feeling looks like and how it's experienced in a deep and emotional kind of way. So I look at this photograph and I think about me overcoming severe self-doubt. At the start of it, I said to myself, I will be shocked if this film ever gets completed. So I can't lie, when I was making the film, I was overwhelmed every day because all I could say to myself was, you are in over your head. But nonetheless, I would continue to take steps forward, and eventually I completed the film. And the other thing that's interesting about the film is that this film is really the notes from my dissertation. And so when I started my PhD, I wasn't entirely convinced that I would finish it because so many people don't finish their PhDs. So when I look at this and I think, this is a film that I completed that started with a high degree of self-doubt based on a PhD dissertation in philosophy that I had a high degree of self-doubt about completing. And so I look at this image and it fills me with so much joy because I think about the ways in which we fill ourselves up with anxiety and self-doubt, but we still power through things nonetheless to accomplish such great things. So I'm very proud of the fact that I'm able to get work done and achieve at a certain level despite any kind of internal negative language that might exist there. Now, I just think that that's a really important life skill. The people who inspired me are most definitely my parents. My parents were always great supporters of mine, always enthusiastic about my aspirations, and were always willing to bring me back to reality when I needed that too. So I always think about that raising my own daughter, who I hope to be an inspiration to, because I looked up to my parents because they were so supportive and so thoughtful and so caring. No matter what my daughter wants to aspire to in life, I want to be there for her. So I hope she looks up to me the way that I look up to my mom and my dad, and also the way that my mom looked up to her mom and how she looked up to her mom. I really want to be that to my daughter, but I also, in a broader sense, want to be that to other girls and women. I want them to look at me and think, you can achieve your goals, and you can do what you want to do in life, and you can follow your own bliss and your own internal logic and not be boxed in by other people, and don't ever stop at no. One thing that I'll always remember growing up is my parents would say to me, follow your bliss. And I've always stayed true to that. I've always stayed true to this idea that you need to do things that make you happy and don't do things just because. And I have to say that it has consistently brought me happiness.